What is a word? Why even ask this question? A word is a word. What could be simpler? But it's not as simple as it seems, and it's something linguists don't have a fully satisfying answer for. The definition of a written word is clear. On the page, a word is a string of letters with white space before and after. But how did those spaces get there in the first place? Spoken language is a string of sounds without pauses. Somehow we know that "jeet," which to the ear is a 2-syllable word, is actually 4 words. We know that because we know what it means, and we know there are smaller pieces of meaningful sound strings within that can be swapped out and replaced. In a sense, a word is a minimally sized chunk of sound that has its own meaning and can be swapped out for another. Except that can also be done with chunks that we know aren't words. We can divide up a word like mistreated into meaning chunks. Each one of those parts is a sound-meaning pairing, but we wouldn't say they are all words. Maybe we need to add the condition that the swapped part should be able to stand alone, something miss, ed, re, and ing can't do. So where does that leave us with words like already, or forever, or today? Their parts can stand alone. They were, in fact, formed out of 2 words and were once written as 2 words. But we now view them as unitary words. The sense here is that we view them as unitary words because we view them as unitary concepts and not as composed from parts. Already does not mean all ready or fully prepared, but before this time. Much like breakfast does not mean break a fast, but morning meal, or even, if you're at a breakfast anytime diner at midnight, a meal of stuff like eggs and pancakes. But being a unitary concept is kind of vague, and it can get us pretty far from what we would probably accept as being a word. Take with a grain of salt doesn't get its meaning from the combination of its parts, but as a whole chunk. Same for put up with, or mother of pearl, or any number of phrases that string written words together into a set meaning. The issue can be quite different in other languages. Because of sound combination rules, there's no question that words like Unabhängigkeitserklärung or Declaration of Independence in German are single words. In some languages, entire complex sentences end up expressed in single words. In the Australian language Tiwi, one word can express, "The sun is shining over there in the morning." They are words according to the way they are pronounced, but they aren't really unitary concepts in the way we think of canonical words having. The confusion about how to truly define a word does spill over into the written domain. We write cannot as one written word, but must not and should not as 2. We write skyscraper as one word, but ice cream as 2. Different style guides can give different advice on whether to hyphenate, separate, or glom together. But this confusion about what a word is only exists when we try to write or otherwise stop to analyze language. It doesn't affect us at all when we go about our daily speaking lives. In other words, we don't really need to have a satisfying definition of a word in order to use them.